So I think I've told this story on here before, but nobody listens anyway. I'll tell it again. I used to work at an oil refinery, and I'm not going to use the guy's actual name,
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure he still works there. I'll just say Lonnie Stevens.
Lonnie Donegan.
Let's just say his name is Lonnie Stevens.
Okay.
Okay.
Lonnie.
Lonnie.
Short
And
for
this-
Lynetta.
So I was in the labor crew, and so we would do labor, as one does.
As one does when they're in the labor crew.
And then we would take breaks where the operators took their breaks. So we were the lowest of the low in the refinery. You had the labor people, which was us.
Yeah.
Then you had the first year operators, second year operators, senior operators. Then you go up to the engineers and beyond. So we were the guys where if you said, "Hey, I stepped in some crap out in the parking lot, you go clean it up."
Right.
I had to go clean it up.
Yeah.
And there was one of the operators, Lonnie Stevens.
Lonnie Stevens
was a stickler for the rules. You get a 15-minute break.
Okay.
And
No more, no less.
And no more, no less. You go here to get your Coke. You go here to smoke your cigarette if you smoke, and you go here to take your break. What are you doing over there? Are you taking a break? Because you're not supposed to be taking your break right now. You're supposed to be that was Lonnie Stevens.
Right.
Okay. Stickler for the rules. And he would do that to everybody, even the senior operators. The
Right.
only people he wouldn't do that to were the engineers.
Okay.
At this place, when an engineer walked in the room, it was, you remember in Aliens, the movie Aliens, when the aliens would show up, suddenly everyone's demeanor changed.
Well, yeah, they had in their pants.
Yeah,
and they were running.
Yeah, it didn't matter what was happening. They're playing with Ripley's cat,
they're like,
or they're talking to Newt about her family that left her in the
They're like,
laundry vent.
they're like, guys,
Yeah.
I think we have a situation.
When an alien walked in the room, that's when Hudson starts losing his game over, man. Hicks gets that serious
You
look.
lead the troops,
Yeah,
man.
Vasquez.
Game over.
Yeah, Vasquez turns around the thing. Let's up. Their demeanor changed.
God, I had a friend in high school who. It was one of those things.
Yeah.
Game over, man. Game over. His girlfriend, it drove her crazy
Yeah.
when he would do that. But
Yeah.
he knew I thought it was funny.
So he did,
kept saying, game over, man.
Yeah.
You lead the troops. Game over.
Yeah. So that's how this place was when an engineer walked in the room. So Lonnie Stevens had nothing on the engineers, but everybody below an engineer, he felt like he was in control of.
Yeah.
So we had a stencil made up.
Oh.
Lonnie Stevens. Now, on everyone's locker, or everyone had a locker. We didn't. The laborers didn't.
No.
But all the lockers had
That's
everybody's
them.
name stenciled. So Lonnie Stevens had his name
In stencil.
Lonnie Stevens
Lonnie
in stencil.
Stevens. Yeah.
We took that stencil.
Uh-huh.
Now, as labor, we were all over the refinery. This place was huge.
Right.
Everyone used trucks to get around. It was like a small city.
Okay.
We put Lonnie Stevens' name on reactors, on storage tanks, on other trucks.
This is exactly what I would have done.
In the mess hall where we would eat, in the parking lot, in front on spaces, over to the engineering building, we would find areas where we could just put it. Lonnie Stevens' name was everywhere. I was there for 3 years during the summers.
Yeah.
And every summer we would go and we would have contests. Who could come with the most creative place to put Lonnie's name? And it pissed him off so much. He had a mustache, by the way. It pissed him off so much.
Of course he does.
Yes. It pissed him off so much because he's such a rule stickler. And then the engineers...
You're wasting stencil.
Yeah, every once in a while the engineers would come in. Remember Aliens, they'd walk in. Is there a Lonnie Stevens here? And Lonnie, yeah, he's like, why is your name in the parking lot?
On the reactor.
In the reactor. And Lonnie, his face would go blood red. He would have and we would all watch, and we would do what you're doing. We would laugh. Everyone all of them laughed themselves silly, which meant nobody knew who did it. Of course, me and like a few other people were the ones who did it.
Right.
It was the gift that never stopped giving. That was all mostly in the first year. In my third year there, Lonnie was still there. He'd come back in. Hey, Lonnie, what's going on? And we would go out to work on something, and there'd be a pipe. There'd be a pipe that said Lonnie Stevens.
You know, fun fact about Lonnie Stevens is when he left the band, his brother Donnie Stevens filled in, and then his other brother Ronnie Stevens is lead singer of 38 Special.
Yeah, just a different letter. But it just, every once in a while, if I'm ever feeling down, it makes me feel a little bit better to think somewhere. And I know he tried to get rid of them as he found them. I know he hasn't found them all. He can't have. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you, anybody who knows what refinery I'm talking about, you can figure it out.
Oh, of course.
People can figure. There's not that many.
Together.
There's not that many in the northern
Yeah.
area. There are massive storage tanks that you can see from the highway. They hold hundreds of thousands of gallons of stuff.
Lonnie
Stevens' name is on, I think, all of them.